Hi guys, I'm gonna do like a bit tired. I'm gonna do a reading on the actor Daniel Craig from I guess he has other projects than the James Bond series, but anyway. Hey buddy, you wanna come up? So finally the weather turned cold today in Montreal, so I'm wearing Canadian flannel. Alright, so I'm gonna start the reading. Is he like flying a lot? When I'm trying to like pick up on his energy, it's like a lot of travel and like I feel like flying like over like around Scotland or like the UK, like between let's say between like London and Scotland or something. Just hang on. I'm just gonna put this wonderful dog in the other bedroom. Just like I noticed the microphone really picks up on the flip flops sound. It's funny. Okay, Daniel Craig. Like I get the feeling he's really analytical and he doesn't mind pointing out like the flaws in something or other. Like I don't get like the warmest feeling between him and his children and stuff. Like there seems to be like some issues. Like I feel like his kids maybe like a bit angry with him, and like that stuff can be made more peaceful through attention and unconditional love and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna like look at that a bit closer. It just feels like he has kind of like boundaries between him, like his life and like his kids' life. It doesn't feel like blended and harmonious. Also, I don't get the feeling like whoever is his partner right now is like the best. Like I get a bit of like like they're not blind. Like they've got eyes. There's just this like in terms of his career, it feels like there's the capsule of like what he's done for the 007 series, and that has like a lot of like brilliance around it. And then it feels kind of less exciting like after that. So I don't know if there's like I get this feeling of like how I mean, I'm sure I don't know if there's a video game of 007, but it feels like that where there's like some side work having to do with that series that like if they don't have a video game, perhaps they will. Perhaps they ought to. I don't know. Anyway, like so like like how they put on those like suits with the sensors and what stuff like I don't know. Like there could be a lot of like side work having to do with the 007 series, like merchandising and all that stuff. Like that continues. So it's almost like, he could call it a day in terms of career because he's like made enough money and there's these little side jobs having to do with series now and then or appearances. I was gonna look at his. Yeah, I feel like there's some like like foreign jobs like across the ocean, where he could make like special appearances for a nice paycheck, like to, advertising or, stuff like that. It was kind of like what I was saying in the Will Ferrell reading, like there's international interest for them to participate in either advertising or chat shows or something like that. I feel like he really should resolve things with his kids sooner rather than later. Like it really, it feels rather urgent to sort that out. There's a bit of like me first vibe I get off of Daniel Craig of like, well, I'm the one making the money right now, so everyone needs to, put me like above them or something. But like, probably God sees everyone like equally, and everyone needs similar respect and stuff. Like when I have 3 kids, and like when I was raising, well, I'm still raising, 2 are adults, but like as I was raising them, I was like thinking of them as the future adults, so like giving them respect as a child, and like, they're just going through this process of growing up, and I'm treating them with the same respect as like anyone else that deserves respect and stuff. So I just don't feel like he has that point of view necessarily. Like I mean, you could call it egotism, but it's like it's more complicated than that. Because like people, everybody has a value, and money is like a river, and maybe he went over the land, and he like stumbled upon a river called like the 007 series and jumped in or whatever. So he had like more flow, but that doesn't mean he has more value than his kids. So it just means he like, had an opportunity. So like there's some respect. And like, I don't, okay. I don't know if he's like really considering like his legacy in terms of his offspring so much as he might be thinking his legacy as this actor. But like, lots of people have been actors, like, like in terms of his legacy, really, I can think of, like Marlon Brando or, people who really knocked it out of the park. Like, okay, you can argue their acting legacy maybe is more in the forefront than we think then we consider like his family and stuff, like just in terms of public perception, uh in terms of fame level or whatever. But I feel like for Daniel Craig, like how like kids can sometimes like stand on the shoulders of their parents and like almost continue or better their work and stuff. So I feel like there's an opportunity for that with him if he can humble himself like 2 notches down. Because I feel like he might be missing like a really amazing opportunity to create this family legacy that is intertwined with the work that he did. Like, I'm just thinking of the saying that's like, well, I'm not gonna say it because it has a swear word in it, but it's like it begins with like a hard head makes a, anyway. So like he might, lessons for Daniel Craig might be more harsh because he's hard-headed about stuff because he thinks he's right. Like I don't know how spiritual he is. I get the vibe like not that much because he's really like vibing on earthly life and money and like this, going here and there like in the physical world. And I don't know, you could say like the number 8 is cool because it could as a pictogram like demonstrate like the flow between like the spiritual half of you and then like flowing into the physical, you know. So maybe right now he's like just the 0 and he needs like another 0 to make like the 8, like to be fully. I'm not saying like, oh, you must be spiritual, because I think like probably people who have no interest in that will continue to have no interest unless they really, unless spirituality knocks on their door pretty hard. So, obviously. So anyway, so hard-headed, not that spiritual. And he can be kind of blunt, like I was saying at the top. So, and that would include too, like his loved ones too. That's my dog barking in the other room. But it's like not as loud as when he's right here. Okay. So, but just so you know, I was outside with him. He had a wonderful walk. It's a beautiful day today. So he's allowed to have a little time out. Okay. I think he hears another dog because there's a store downstairs, and then people put their dogs, and then those dogs bark near the door, and then my dog does a call and response. All right, Daniel Craig. I feel too like he might be like offended by some of the offers he's given in terms of work, because he's, it's like if you were just at the top of the Matterhorn or whatever, and it's like downhill from there in terms of like expensive projects, or I don't know, he might not want to be like in an ensemble cast, or in a cheaper film, or so it's a bit like, again, with the humility thing, might be good if he could just like, breathe through the changes a bit and not fight them so much. I don't know if he wants to like buy a hotel in Britain or something, and like it's expensive and he'll make a lot of money from that. I don't know. It feels like it could be like west of London, but still within like a commuter train distance, but it's like a destination place. There's probably like a lot of people that live just outside of London, because like London itself is, expensive together. So there would be enough people going to this hotel. But I think he'd really like vibe on the exclusivity of it, and maybe there'd even only be like 12 rooms. So maybe it's like a chateau type of thing, or manor, or whatever they call them in the UK. Castle. If I were to translate. Okay, so Daniel Craig, we got his hotel over there, and then I don't know if he like lives somewhere like southwest of London. I feel kind of like this triangle of movement in that area. Like it feels like or there's a place southwest of England, London, that makes him happy. I don't know. I don't know where he's from. Maybe he's from there. He looks kind of like northern more, but who knows? Anyway, okay, I'm just gonna. I don't know if this makes any sense, but like, it's like he's really into cultivating his vibe. Like I don't feel like sometimes when you connect with people, there's just like a flood of information, and I kind of feel like his thing is more just having a vibe and being really grounded in that vibe, you know? And that like complements that thing about him being like really earthy and, you know, because I would think like spiritual people are always like "Do-do-do-do-do," like information, you know, centers. Whereas people who are like just like really terrestrial, like would just be like enjoying their lunch or I don't know, planning something like real. Like it, yeah, Craig. I feel like there's something to do with work, also like west of London. And there's like a little conversation he's having with someone who also like lives there or like lives near there. And it's like a pleasant slash like difficult conversation. I don't know. The energy between them is very like lively. And then I'm being shown like up near Bath, like or Liverpool, Bath, kind of that side of stuff too. So I don't know if he's like working on a project or like he likes to visit those places, but it just seems like more alive in terms of like him putting his energy into something, um, having conversations. I'm getting the message like it might be good for him not to do like play like a gangster in a movie. Um, I'm getting like a role where he'd have like prosthetic makeup to be like older than he is, and that would go well. So whoever's like trying to cast for an old dude who's British, like I'm gonna suggest him. Daniel Craig. I feel like you know how like the UK has like all this fairy lore, so I feel like some of that is interesting to him, like history or like that type of history. And I guess yeah, and like this in the sort of area where like King Arthur hung out would be like southwestern England, I think. And I mean, if he was king of England, like probably went everywhere, but like let's just say there's some focus around there between Stonehenge and like the End Peninsula. Um, so like there's I don't know if he's working on a project that has to do with that has some relevance to fairy references. What is he? No, that's not my dog. That's another dog. Okay. Okay. Daniel Craig. I'll just think of a couple more things. I don't know if I've done a celebrity reading on someone who's like so not spiritual. I'm not saying like in a negative way. It's just like not. I just don't feel like it's that interesting to him. He doesn't engage with it that much, and he's sort of content doing the work that he's doing here on Earth, like without getting any whatever nudges from his spirit guides or whatever. I'm not saying he has zero intuition, but it's just like for instance, like I believe in God and like, you know, I'm like I feel like obvious it's obvious there's a God, like from my life experiences and stuff. Because I wasn't raised religious whatsoever. And it just sort of occurred in my life. And for which I'm very grateful. But I don't feel that he's attributing his blessings necessarily to God, right? I'm looking at like I'm gonna look at like his life purpose kind of stuff. I feel like okay, like it's all fine and good that he had success and whatever, but I feel like his lesson or part of his like tour package here on Earth is being able to be more humble, despite his success or like intertwined with his success, and to actually to transform into a more nurturing parent, to see the like amazing qualities in his children, and to sort of stand in awe of that and like kind of put himself second as parents do. Ideally. I get this like, like feeling like that. So maybe that's like difficult process for him, but it's kind of like I feel like because it's on the menu, it's like whether you like it or not, like it'll be something he'll have to encounter. I feel like from what I can see, and it's not like a punishment if he can see it as like an evolution of himself, and that rewards come as a result of like doing this, because essentially he's giving like proper attention to his kids, and that's like a good thing. Mm. But he'll really have to like check his anger, and you know how how Hollywood makes like a lot of male actors like play a woman. I feel like that would be something that's offered to him, like Tootsie, or like a bit like Today style or something. That would be like a fast track for him to like really be playful with his ego, so he could get in a more nurturing, like feminine energy, because maybe he's like too much in his masculine, it's not like balanced. Okay. I'm not saying he has to do that, but that's like I see something that's like possible. And maybe that's having to do with that prosthetic makeup too. Like if he wants to really show off his acting ability, he could really play like someone different. So even just as an intellectual challenge, like that might be something. And I feel like there's a temptation to like be in another massive project, but I don't get a good feeling about that. I get a better feeling about like him really challenging his skills and playing against type, and and then sort of discovering the wonderful sort of untapped incredibleness of his kids. Like I just feel like there's this feeling of like anger and resentment can transform into just like a wow, I feel like something about his kids that's like great, like in terms of what they could contribute to society, like in some way, either culturally or in some way, by being like loved and fulfilled would then be the stability on which they would contribute this thing. But it's sort of like a video game where Daniel Craig has to like go through these challenges and like unlock the next level where like everything is cool. Because right now he's like I don't know video games, but like like let's say he's in Grand Theft Auto right now, and then he unlocks it, and he's in like that hasn't been invented. That should be invented. That's more chill. Um, all right, I'm just gonna think of kind of one and a half more things, and then I'll stop. I feel like this like what's that town called? It's like south of London, but it's on the water. It's not Bristol, it's the other one. It starts with a B. Anyway, that around there, I feel like an outpouring of emotion on his part. Just like a big cry that could be like a day and a half or 2 day, kind of like just something striking him emotionally, which is good. It's healing. You gotta cry it out. Everyone cries, and so I'm feeling that. And there's something I don't know. There's something about also being on the water. So I don't know if he likes. I don't know if he's a sailor or like has a cruise ship. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, something on the water, something on land. Tears, some like nice energy around that too, but like also crying. So I don't know what that is. I feel like I'm on purpose not being shown what that is, so that's fine. It's okay to have some privacy. And there's some difficult task he has to do that's like a bit more east of that town. There's a name I can't think of that you guys are all probably know what it is. That starts with a B and is south of London. And they have that like rocky beach. Like people, I played a show there. Like I was drumming for a band, and they're like, "Oh, let's go to the beach." But like the beach is like a big rock, like tennis ball size rocks. I don't know how they figure that out in terms of comfort and stuff. But anyway, it's technically a beach, I guess. Um. Anyway, so that town. Anyway, so it's like a bit east of there. There's some difficult task he has to do. It might not be this, but it's the kind of the vibe of like clearing out your parents' house after they pass away, or like it's that kind of like, you know, that feeling like of doing a task that is like maybe more work than he wants to do, mixed in with some sadness or complicated feelings or something like that. And I feel too that when he's like being interviewed, like in London or something for a TV show, you should kind of like watch what he says, like not be so loose with what he says, because he could like make how some people like undo their career with like casual comments and stuff in the media. So he really needs to just kind of be a gentleman and protect the legacy of his family by not like spilling too much information about family members and just not being too off the cuff, because like what he might consider okay by his standards might not vibe with everyone, because he might be living like totally differently than everybody else and have different values. So you wouldn't want to like hurt your career or hurt the feelings of people from like just going off. That might like interviews might not be his forte. So maybe like know thyself and kind of rein it in and like really contemplate like how do I want to be seen? What do I really want to contribute in this interview? and have like boundaries around stuff. And just because someone hits a tennis ball into your side of the court doesn't mean you have to hit it back. You can just create a new tennis ball that's like sparkly and hit that back. You're not obliged to mirror people in conversation. Daniel. So okay, Mr. Craig. I don't know if I'm older than him or not. So like technically, I guess if I'm older than him, I could call him Daniel, but I'll look it up after. It wouldn't shock me if I'm older than him, but we'll see. Okay, final words on Daniel. Yeah, so I would just say like his biggest challenge right now. Oh, my neck. Sorry, I was like, because I live in a bilingual place, so I got the word like diffy instead. I got like challenge. He is like talking, communication. So like, if he can consider polishing up his communication and like really considering his legacy, his children, and like just putting some like awesome love and dignity around that. If he could consider that as or more important than like what he just did with the 007 stuff. I mean, you could say that like actors like in film have like a whole like city full of people helping them do that, making them look awesome, like making them well lit, well dressed, rehearsed, like giving them like really cool people to act with. And you know what I mean, it's not like a lonely effort. So it's like he did that kind of working with people big project, and now he needs to kind of like come back home to himself, sort that out, really make it good with his family. If he doesn't, I don't feel good about it at all. So it's like almost an imperative that he do this. Not almost. It's an imperative that he do this. So he needs to clean up what he says about his family in interviews, and it might seem like work that's too humble for him, but guess what? Like, no. Building a legacy is like serious business, and you don't want to drop the ball. Like, you didn't have kids that you could like make them feel bad. So get on your, do your job correctly. This is really different reading than other celebrity readings. I don't know why I look so tired, but maybe I'll go for a run and see if that makes me 25 again. So sorry for that. So I think we're good. There's something else. Yeah, also okay. He should watch it when he's like at a fancy bar in London, just like shooting the shit with people at the bar. Like, people, everybody's got ears, like loose lips, sink ships kind of thing. So he just really needs to tighten up his chatter, and in all ways, like whether in the media or person to person, because what he could lose by not doing this is losing that what he considers to be this like unbreakable legacy of what he's done. But it's like, life is full of surprises, so he really needs to like work on the things I talked about in order to really be happy as a person, whether you like it or not. I feel like there's some resistance on his part to like change that up, but anyway, he may never see this reading, and that's okay. But like these are just the energies I'm picking up about him, and maybe it's interesting for everyone in some way because we're all kind of the same, going through stuff, whatever. Because that's the point of these readings. Like, I'm not trying to rat on people. I'm trying to like give healing advice to people that we know or have heard of, so that it's like relatable and useful to people. Because right now I'm not from now until like February, I'm not going to do personal readings and healings. I'm just going to do these when I feel like it and do some artistic projects I've been like putting to the side for a while because I like art too. And all right, so thank you for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you guys have a suggestion of someone I haven't already done, you can email that to me at lauracrapo@gmail.com, and be polite. Because if you're mean, I'll probably like, oh, I didn't see that one. Kind of thing. Because I'm just doing this for free, so it's for me to choose. But I'm interested in what interests you guys too. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.